let's say you're going out of town for a couple weeks, or you're going out of town for the day, or to work or whatever. This main drain only opens up about 75% because we don't want you having that much suction on the floor there.
Right.
But if I valve this all the way back, or even turn it off, and the water level's low, I can leave the pump running. Now that skimmer isn't going to be pulling water. This is fine. This main drain can run like this all day long.
Yeah.
The only problem is it's not going to be pulling stuff off the top and getting your water clean before it settles on the floor. So ideally you want your pool skimming, but if the water level's low and you're losing prime, just cut that skimmer off.
Okay.
Throw a hose in it, fill it back up, turn the skimmer on, then you'll be pulling debris off the top of the water.
You should always be about what, an inch or two from the
about
tile?
Halfway up is perfect.
On the tile?
A little,
halfway up
for
on the tile
to skim.
Okay.
For the skimming action. So right now you're like maybe an inch high, but as soon as the kids jump in there, it's going to splash it out. You're better to keep it a little high.
I'm the kid.
You're going to be fighting evaporation all year long. 10 months out of the year you fight evaporation. 2 months out of the year you get rain. So it's better to have the overflow a little above halfway and have it like this 2 months of the year than 10 months of the year having to throw a hose in constantly and waste water.
Okay.
So that's a couple hundred gallons, just 2 inches of water on top of the surface. That's a couple hundred gallons.
Okay.
So all your valves. Right now we have it set up in pool mode. Now you guys have this set up to not run at 100%, correct? Do you guys set it up that way?
100% of what?
Right here, you go to settings menu. So these are your different menus. You have a settings menu, a timers menu. Those are two main menus you'll use. Diagnostics menu, that's Hawkins would use, the electricians. Their sticker's not on here, I don't think. Oh. Configuration menu, you don't have to get into that. Default menu is going to tell you the day and time, pool temp, air temp, percentage your chlorinator's running at,
Is that what it should be?
your salt. Yeah, I mean in the summertime you might have to move it up to 60 or 70, but they adjust it accordingly. So let's say right now you guys have about a 3 chlorine level, 3 parts per million at 50% in all this rain. Now summer comes, more algae blooms, they might turn up to 60 or 70 to keep it up around to 5 parts per million. And then in the wintertime, they'll drop it back down sometimes to 30, 40%. So it's just running at a different percentage according to what you need. So you're running at 50%, you're at 2,900. I'm gonna add salt today, I'll show you how to do that. 2,700, you stop producing chlorine through this generator, so you're 200 parts per million away from that. 3,400 is the high. They want you to get the salt per million too.
Okay.
If you go up over that, you see 35, 3,600 out here, your pool tech gets it a little high. Say, hey, try not to keep it above 35 on a regular basis. It's not gonna hurt it, but if you do it all the time, it'll shorten the life of the cell by like 10%. So those things last 6-7 years, you might only get 5 out of it. Every once in a while you're gonna have you'll see an orange light come up, says check system, and then on this default menu you'll scroll across, come to default, and it'll say hold plus reset salt cell. Inspect cell, hold plus to reset. All you do is hold this plus button and the pool tech should do it. And reset it and you got unions right here. Your unscrews. All you're doing is looking down and making sure it's not full of hair and debris. If it is, you just hose it out with a jet nozzle, don't stick anything in there. It's real simple. These unscrew and you hose it out. You guys have a screen room. I usually see like fiber in them from like palm trees and oak leaves and stuff like that. But it has an internal timer and it's going to tell you every 3 months to inspect it. Once every 6 months, this is supposed to get an acid wash. So your pool tech will be able to do that. It might be a $20 or $30 fee for him to do it, but it takes about 20 minutes to do.
Okay.
You unwind it, put it in a bucket, stand it up, put a couple glugs of acid in it, up to a pint. It usually only takes about a measuring cup. And you see little bubbles foam up. It eats the calcium off of it. And then you put it back together.
Once every 6 months?
Every 6 months. You can YouTube it. It's real simple.
Okay.
But you can stand it up in a bucket, like this one.
Yeah.
And just glug, glug, glug with a little bit of acid. Or you can buy a little cap that screws on the bottom. And they'll give you a ratio at pinch a penny. And you just put the water in there, then the acid ratio, and let it sit and bubble. And if you do that every 6 months, you won't get massive buildup in it. It'll run a lot more efficiently. Pinch a penny, Leslie's, they'll all tell you it's like 20 bucks for a little cap. Or you can just do it in the bucket and put a couple glugs in. If you look online, they'll show you how to do it. It's really simple.
Okay.
This, you don't want it set, you want it sideways or upside down. This can go either way. So this, oh yeah, this will just go right into the bucket. So if I take this apart, you can take this off. This doesn't have to be on there. That's just so it looks clean.
Yeah.
So if that's dangling, it's not going to hurt anything. You can actually snip both of them off so you have more distance.
A little more.
Yeah,
Anyway. Okay.
Those are just zip ties. That way it's, you just know where it's at when you weed eat or whatever. So you see it better.
Okay.
So, you have the remote, you said? Yep. Right. Have you guys ran the heater?
Yeah.
No?
Uh-huh.
So this is what happens. There's always going to be a delay. And you'll see out here why. So if I